Dear friends, welcome to InQUEST. In this video, let's discuss about 26th October 2021 daily current affairs useful for your UPSC, KPSC and all other competitive exams. So let's see the index of today's discussion. Article number 1, US sabotaging CPEC with India's support. So this is actually accusation made by China that India and US together actually sabotaging China-Pakistan economic corridor. So this accusation is not important. So let us learn what is CPEC and in details in this article. So article number 2, China's new law formalizes its LAC action. So that is line of actual control between India and China. They've actually made their new law that actually formalizes their presence at LAC. So let's see what this new law says. So article number 3, government sets up national steering committee for implementation of NIPUN Bharat mission. So in this article, so actually a while ago, the scheme that is NIPUN Bharat mission was actually launched. So in this article, let us understand what is NIPUN Bharat. So at the same time, now it is the role of National Steering Committee. So it will be the implementing agency of this particular NIPUN Bharat mission. So article number 4, 18th ASEAN India Summit and 16th East Asia Summit. So these summits are expected to be held in October 28th and 27th respectively. So let's see what these summits are all about. So article number 5, India's first indigenous aircraft carrier Vikrant begins its second phase of sea trials. Actually, first phase of trials have been already completed. So this is the second phase of sea trial for Vikrant. This is the first indigenously prepared aircraft. So let's see what this aircraft is all about in complete details. Article number 6, Saudi Arabia for net zero emission by 2060. So we were speaking about in the previous video regarding net zero, and now one more country has given its commitment to reach net zero emission by 2060 along with other nations that have already announced for the same. So article number 7, Union Minister for Education and Skill Development inaugurates phase 2 of Mahatma Gandhi National Fellowship. So in this article, let us understand the MGNF, that is Mahatma Gandhi National Fellowship, in complete details. Now let's get into the first article. US sabotaging China-Pakistan economic corridor with India's support. The chief of China-Pakistan Economic Corridor Authority has accused the USA sabotaging the multi-billion-dollar project that is economic lifeline of Pakistan actually. So this CPEC is actually road and railway, and along with that, many other infrastructural development that runs majorly through Pakistan along with China. So in a way, it runs in Pakistan. So it is looked as economic lifeline of Pakistan. Now, the chief of CPEC actually accused India and USA that we are sabotaging this particular CPEC. The ambitious CPEC was launched in 2015. So it was launched in 2015 when Chinese President Xi Jinping visited Pakistan. It aims to connect Western China. So these are the areas that it will be connecting. It is aiming to connect Western China with Gwadar Port. See, Gwadar Port is actually there in Pakistan. So in southwestern region of Pakistan, through a network of road, railways, and other projects of infrastructure and development. So as I told you before, so it includes road, railway, and other projects of infrastructure that will be in development. So Islamabad is the 7th largest recipient of Chinese overseas development financing with 71 projects worth $27.3 billion underway as a part of CPEC. So Islamabad, the capital city of Pakistan, is one of the countries or one of the places that is expected to receive 7th largest recipient of Chinese overseas development financing with 71 projects that is worth $27.3 billion. So China's Belt and Road Initiative. So there is one more thing along with CPEC that is called as China's Belt and Road Initiative. So we will be learning about these two also in this particular article, that is China's Belt and China's Road Initiative, under which Chinese government has been investing heavily in about 70 countries. So this is also kind of a communication development. One is by road, other one is through sea, and this is expected to run through around 70 countries. So this is also one of the China's biggest investments. So let's understand China-Pakistan economic corridor. So it starts from mainland of China, that is from Kashgar, then it passes through POK, that is Pakistan occupied Kashmir, then it comes to the mainland of Pakistan, that is Islamabad, then it runs through the mainland of Islamabad, and it finally completes, or the final destination is Gwadar port of Pakistan. So this is what is the development of China Pakistan economic corridor. So CPEC is the collection of infrastructure projects that are under construction throughout Pakistan beginning in 2013. So it began in 2013. It is still under construction throughout Pakistan and a part of China. Originally valued at $47 billion value, CPEC projects is worth $62 billion as of 2020 with no current completion date. So they have not anticipated any date of completion. So CPEC is intended to rapidly upgrade Pakistan's required infrastructure and strengthen its economy by construction of modern transportation networks, numerous energy projects, and special economic zones. So this is actually, in a way, it is going to help Pakistan's required infrastructure, and it is going to strengthen its economy in a way by constructing modern transportation networks. Obviously, transportation is the key part of economic growth of any country. At the same time, with various energy projects and special economic zones. So all these will be taken care by China through China-Pakistan economic corridor. So on 13 November 2016, CPEC became partly operational when Chinese cargo was transported overland to Gwadar port for onward maritime shipment to Africa and West Asia. Though the project is not completely finished or completed, but it kind of informally it became operationalized when Chinese cargo was transported to Gwadar port, and later it was shifted to Africa and West Asian countries. So a vast network of highways and railways are to be built under the aegis of CPEC that will span the length and breadth of Pakistan. So obviously, so as I told you, it is the construction of a large network of highways and railways. So that is going to run throughout the length and breadth of the Pakistan. So modern transportation networks built under CPEC will link seaport in Gwadar and Karachi. So it is going to build. So particularly the Gwadar and Karachi of Pakistan will be linked together with this particular CPEC with northern Pakistan, as well as points further north in western China and Central Asia. So these are the points that is mainly it is expected to establish the links in between. A 1,100-kilometer long motorway will be built between the cities of Karachi and Lahore as a part of CPEC. So it is to a stretch of 1,100 kilometers motorway. So that will be built between two cities. One is Karachi and Lahore through CPEC. While Karakoram highway from Hassan Abdal to Chinese border will be completely restructured and overhauled. So earlier, so this structure or infrastructure was not so good. Now through CPEC, so this Karakoram highway from Hassan Abdal to Chinese border will be completely reconstructed through CPEC. So let us understand what is Belt and Road Initiative. The Belt and Road Initiative, known in Chinese and formally in English as One Belt, One Road in a global infrastructure development strategy adopted by the Chinese government in 2013 to invest in nearly 70 countries and international organizations. So this is actually two roadways. One is called as Belt and other one is called as Road. Actually, there is a kind of confusion that we always look these terms as actually belt runs through road and road way is running through sea. So we should not get confused between the same. So belt is not the communication transportation on sea. So this is actually communication transportation on road, but they have titled it as road, but that actually runs through sea. So this is one important difference that we need to remember. So it is considered a centerpiece of Communist Party of China General Secretary and Chinese leader Xi Jinping's foreign policy. So they think this is one of the prestigious, foreign policy of Communist Party of China. The BRI, that is, Belt and Road Initiative, forms a central component of Xi Jinping's major country diplomacy strategy, which calls for China to assume a greater leadership role for global affairs in accordance with its rising powers and status. So they actually proclaim this particular project to show that they are the global leader, because they are investing across almost 70 countries with respect to development of transportation system. So that is looked as major countries diplomatic move or a strategy. So Xi Jinping originally announced the strategy as the Silk Road Economy Belt during an official visit to Kazakhstan in September 2013. So belt belt is the short for the Silk Road Economic Belt. So this is road transportation that is termed as belt, referring to the proposed overland routes for the road and railway transportation through landlocked Central Asia along the famed historical trade routes of the western regions, whereas road is the short for the 21st century maritime Silk Road. So road is actually, which that's what I told you initially, we should not get confused. Road is actually maritime route. So they have termed it as, or titled it as, road. So referring to Indo-Pacific Sea route through Southeast Asia to South Asia, the Middle East and Africa. So I'll be showing all these places that belt and road is going to establish the connectivity in the next slide, using the map. So examples of belt and road initiative infrastructure investments include, so these are the investment, not just the construction of road or establishing the the roadmap of their travel. So this also includes the establishments of ports, then skyscrapers, then we have railroads, roads, airports, dams, coal-fired power stations, and railroad tunnels. The initiative was incorporated into the Constitution of China in 2017. Imagine, so they have included this project in the Constitution of China. That shows the impact of this particular project, or importance that they have been giving to this particular project. The Chinese government calls the initiative a bid to enhance regional connectivity and embrace a brighter future. So this is what they actually themed it as, like to establish or to enhance regional connectivity and embrace a brighter future. So this is what is the map that you can just follow here. So the orange color line is Silk Road Economic Belt, and blue color line is maritime Silk Route. So let us first understand belt. Belt is the road route actually. So it starts from China, so it moves across China, then comes to the China's mainland, part of China's mainland, that is Kashgar. From Kashgar it moves towards West Asia, and finally it ends up at Turkey. And it also has another branch here. So here it moves towards Central Asia. It covers almost the countries of Central Asia, like Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and Kyrgyzstan. So all these countries it is going to touch, and later it moves towards Moscow, and finally it touches Europe. So this is how the belt or road route is going to connect. And the road route, so obviously there is a lot of confusion here. Road actually runs through sea. That is what they have titled it as. So it starts from South China Sea basically. So through South China Sea it actually comes towards Indo-Chinese countries like Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia. From here it is going to connect the Malacca Strait, that is in between Malaysia and Indonesia. From here it comes towards Myanmar. From here it touches Bangladesh. From here it again reaches Sri Lanka. From here it again touches Pakistan. From Pakistan it moves towards Gulf countries through Gulf Strait. Then it comes again towards African countries, and then it ends up in Europe once again. So these are all the two different road maps. One is called as belt and other one is called as road, that is expected to be created by China. The project has the target completion date of 2049. See, you should not get confused. CPEC, they have no target date of completion, but this road and belt, they have the anticipated date of completion by 2049, which will coincide with the centennial of the People's Republic of China's founding. So to 2049, it will be 100 years of founding People's Republic of China party. So some observers and skeptics, mainly from non-participant countries, including the United States, interpret it as a plan for Sino-centric international trade network. So actually, these countries like observers and skeptical countries, or rather we can say non-participant countries, they actually titled this particular project as Sino-centric international trade network. So in response, actually in response to this particular belt and road construction, the United States, Japan, and Australia had formed a counter initiative, and that counter initiative was titled as Blue Dot Network in the year 2019, followed by the G7's Build Back Better World initiative in 2021. So with this, let's go to article number 2. So China's new law formalizes its LAC action. So let us say this is LAC between India and China. So now they have made a rule actually to deploy their position across LAC. So this is the new law that they have actually made. So let's see the complete details of the same. China's legislature has adopted a new border law to take effect on January 1 that calls on the state and military to safeguard territory and combat any acts that undermine China's territorial claims. So this is actually safeguard their territory as claimed by China and its legislature. And other reason is to combat any acts that undermine China's territorial claims. So if there are any activities that actually undermine the China's territorial claims, so this law is going to help them to have their presence across LAC. The law was first proposed in March this year, a year into tension that erupted along the line of actual control with India after the People's Liberation Army, that is in short called as PLA, mobilized 2 divisions in forward areas and carried out multiple transgressions. So they, we have been knowing that there has been a lot of disturbance across line of actual control. So that is what this article says, that this first proposal came in March, where there was a lot of tensions across LAC that is created by China itself. But now they say to counteract those kind of tensions, they have made amendments in the law, or they have included the new law to have their presence across line of actual control. So China has unresolved border dispute with two things majorly. One is India, other one is Bhutan. The new law would formalize some of China's recent actions in disputed territories with both India and Bhutan. So including PLAs, that is People's Liberation Armies, massing of troops in forward areas along the Indian border, multiple aggressions across the LAC. So this change in law is already reflected in these two, the actions of China. That is, one is massing of troops in forward areas along India border, multiple transgressions across LAC, that is creation of disturbances across LAC, and the construction of new frontline villages along the border with Bhutan. So this is actually reflected with respect to the new law that they have made in the Chinese legislature. So the legislature, which is largely ceremonial and controlled by the Communist Party, voted to adopt a new law on the protection and exploitation of countries' land border areas. So this is actually, as we know, China is the communist party. There won't be kind of opposition like how it happens in India. So that is the reason why we say this as kind of ceremonial thing. So basically it is voted to adopt new law on the terms of protection and exploitation of the country's land border areas. The law stipulates that the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the People's Republic of China are sacred and inviolable, adding that the state shall take measures to safeguard territory integrity and land boundaries and guard against and combat any act that undermines territorial sovereignty and land boundaries. So sovereignty, actually it is also there in our preamble. So sovereignty, to tell you in broader way, so a country should be in a position, or should be able to control its borders. So this is what actually China is also claiming, that the purpose of doing this, the state shall take measures. So that is to take measures to actually safeguard territorial integrity and land boundaries and guard against any combat any act that undermines the territorial sovereignty and land boundaries. It also calls on the state to take measures to strengthen border defense. So, along with that, so it also calls for strengthening border defense, support economic and social development, as well as opening up in border areas, improve public services and infrastructure in such areas, encourage and support people's life and work there, and promote coordination between border defense and social economic development in border areas. So these are the other areas they are emphasizing on. So with this, let's see what Article 22 says. So this Article 22 is Article 22 of China. That is what you need to basically remember here. Article 22 of the law says that the PLA shall carry out border duties. So this is what is the important thing. They can carry out border duties, including organized drills. They can conduct drills of military and resolutely prevent, stop, and combat invasion, encroachment, provocation, and other acts. So this is as per the Article 22 of China. The law also says China will handle land border related affairs with neighboring countries through negotiations to properly resolve disputes and long-standing border issues. This is kind of contrary to Article 22 that we saw right now. They say that they try to resolve the issues by with neighboring countries through negotiations, but the new law that they have made, this is not in line with the negotiations. It is kind of over crossing the LAC. The passing of law coincides with the stepped up Chinese activity along the land borders, which have mirrored actions in disputed waters in East and South China Sea. So in one of the previous videos, we have seen that China across South China Sea, actually they have come up with 9-dash line. So if any vessels of any other foreign nations have to cross through this 9-dash line, they have to actually report, to China. So this is actually in violation with UN clause. So this new law that they have made, this is almost mirrored action of the same. I mean to say, it is same as what they are actually doing at sea. The law will give a stamp of approval for military's recent action. So they will give the military the approval for their action. So this is what is the legal change that they have made. So with this, let's move to Article number 3. So this is in relation to Ministry of Education. So government sets up National Steering Committee for implementation of NIPUN Bharat mission. The Department of School Education and Literacy had launched the National Initiative for Proficiency in Reading with Understanding and Numeracy. So what is NIPUN? NIPUN is National Initiative for Proficiency. There should be proficiency in reading, and not just reading, there should be understanding and with basic numeracy. So that is titled as NIPUN Bharat mission. So it was launched on 5th July 2021 with the aim to achieve the goal of universal proficiency in the foundational literacy and numeracy for every child by grade 3 as envisaged by the National Educational Policy. So this is basically to give proficiency in reading and understanding the literacy. So as prescribed in the mission guidelines, our National Steering Committee for Implementation of NIPUN Bharat mission has been constituted on 25th October 2021 under the chairpersonship of the Union Education Minister. So there should be some implementing agency of this particular NIPUN. So this implementing agency is constituted on 25th October 2021. That is nothing but National Steering Committee, that is in short called as NSC. So the following are the actually roles and responsibilities of NSC for the NIPUN Bharat mission. You can just pause the video and go through everything. They are very simple to understand. Next, with this, let's go to Article number 4. 18th ASEAN India Summit and 16th East Asia Summit. So these summits are scheduled. One is on 28th of October, other one is 27th of October respectively. Let's see the objectives of these two summits. So Prime Minister will attend 18th ASEAN India Summit to be held virtually on October 28, 2021 at invitation of Sultan of Brunei. The summit will be attended by heads of states and governments of ASEAN countries. So there are 10 ASEAN countries. So in this presentation, let us also know which are all the ASEAN countries. The 18th ASEAN India Summit. So this is 10 ASEAN countries along with India. So it is the 18th ASEAN India Summit will review the status of ASEAN India strategic partnership and take stock of progress made in key areas including COVID-19 and health, trade and commerce, connectivity and education and culture. So these are the key areas of emphasis here. One is areas of COVID-19 and health, trade and related commerce, then establishing connectivity, education and culture. So important regional and international developments including post-pandemic economic recovery will also be discussed. So we all know that during the lockdown most of the economic activities were paralyzed. So now this summit they actually looking for post-pandemic economic recovery. This point is also under discussion. So these are actually the ASEAN countries. So this is where we have India. So you can see the map here. So these are ASEAN countries. We have Thailand here. We have Myanmar. We have Laos, Vietnam. Then comes Philippines. Then comes Brunei. Then we have Singapore here. Then Indonesia. Then we have Malaysia. We have Cambodia. So these are actually 10 ASEAN member countries. So now there is a summit between these ASEAN member countries with India. So ASEAN Indian summits are held annually and provide opportunity for India and ASEAN to engage at highest level. So every year this summit will be held actually. ASEAN India strategic partnership stands on strong foundation of shared geographical, historical and civilizational ties. So these are the three areas of consideration. One is these are the foundational things to be considered. So one is geographical, other one is historical and other one is civilizational ties. So ASEAN is the central to our Act East policy and our wider vision of Indo-Pacific. The year 2022 will mark 30 years of ASEAN-India relations. So this is, if for the next year, I mean to say 2022, this will mark 30 years of ASEAN and India relations. So with this, let us also understand East Asia Summit. So Prime Minister will also attend 16th East Asia Summit to be held on October 27, 2021 virtually. The East Asia Summit is the premier leaders-led forum in the Indo-Pacific. Since its inception in 2005, so it actually started in the year 2005, it has played a significant role in the strategic and geopolitical evolution of East Asia. Apart from the 10 ASEAN member states, so ASEAN members that we saw in the previous summit will also be present in East Asia Summit. Along with these ASEAN countries, East Asia Summit includes India, China, Japan, Republic of Korea, Australia, New Zealand, United States, and Russia. India being a founding member of the East Asian Summit. So we are actually the founding member of East Asia Summit, is committed to strengthening the East Asia Summit and making it more effective for dealing with contemporary challenges. So it is also an important platform for furthering practical cooperation in Indo-Pacific by building upon the convergence between ASEAN outlook on Indo-Pacific and Indo-Pacific Ocean Initiative. So these are the two things that they are actually looking for. One is outlook on Indo-Pacific and Indo-Pacific Ocean Initiative. At the 16th East Asia Summit, leaders will discuss matters of regional and international interest. So these are the things that are under discussion. One is regional and international interest and concerns including maritime security, terrorism, COVID-19 cooperation as well. So leaders are also expected to accept declaration on mental health, economic recovery. So recovery, as we are speaking in terms of post-COVID economic recovery, at the same time, the mental health through tourism and green recovery, which are being co-sponsored by India. So with this, let's go to article number 5. India's first indigenous aircraft carrier Vikrant begins second phase of sea trial. So a few months ago, first trial of sea trial was completed. Now it is the second sea trial, which is going to be held. So this is the very important point of this article is this Vikrant is India's first indigenous aircraft carrier that is titled as, that is named as Vikrant, set sail for the second sea trials ahead of its planned induction into the Indian Navy by August next year. The this will be actually inducted by 2022 by the month of August to Indian Navy. See, it is a 40,000 ton aircraft carrier, the largest and most complex warship to be built in India, successfully completed a 5-day maiden sea voyage in August. So this was the first trial. So this was completed in August. Following the first sea trial, the Navy had said that the performance of key systems of the warship was found to be satisfactory. So in the first trial, its performance was found to be satisfactory, and now it is moving towards the second trial. The warship has been built at the cost of around 23,000 crore, and its construction propelled India into a select group of countries having capabilities to build state-of-the-art, aircraft carrier. So since it is one of its kind, for the very first time, we have made our own indigenous aircraft. So that actually adds into, India is added into the countries, or looked as one of the countries that can actually build the state of art aircraft carriers. So the warship will operate. So these are the things that will be operating in this particular warship. One is MiG-29K fighter jets. Second is Commodore 31 helicopters. Then MH-60 are multi-role helicopters. So it has over 2,300 compartments, designed for a crew of around 1,700 people. So 1,700 people can be on board, including specialized cabins to accommodate women officers. Vikrant has a top speed of around 28 knots. So these are very important for your examination. Top speed of 28 knots and a cruising speed of 18 knots with an endurance about 7,500 nautical miles. The IAC, that is indigenous aircraft carrier, is 262 meters long, 62 meters wide, and it has a height of 59 meters. So its construction began in 2009. The warship has been built by Cochin Shipyard Limited. India currently has only one aircraft carrier, so that is INS Vikramaditya. So if we complete the trials, so this will be added and this will become the second aircraft carrier. Right now we have only one, that is INS Vikramaditya. So that is not, this Vikrant is not yet inducted in the for the process. The Indian Navy has been focusing on significantly bolstering its overall capacities in view of China's growing efforts to increase its military presence in the Indian Ocean region. So this is one of the greatest or significant moves that we are coming up with, Vikrant, because looking at the China's growing efforts to increase its militancy presence in the Indian Ocean regions. The Indian Ocean, considered the backyard of the Indian navies, is critical to the country's strategic interest. So this is where it will be used in the backyard of the Indian Navy. So this is looked as one of the strategic interests in terms of defense against China or any other country for that matter. So this is what is the second trial is all about. So this is what is the the aircraft carrier. So this is Vikrant, the picture that you can see here. So with this, let's move on to the article number 6. So Saudi Arabia for net zero emission by 2060. So in the previous video, I mean to say yesterday's video, we actually have discussed about the meaning of net zero. The meaning of net zero is not that we don't burn fossil fuels or use coal or anything. Net zero means the amount of carbon that we actually produce for various activities that has to be neutralized. So that balancing is called as actually net zero. So now, along with many other countries, they've actually announced to reach net zero. Saudi Arabia is now added to the list that they have committed to reach net zero by 2060. So Saudi Arabia's prince said that the world's top oil exporter aims to reach net zero emissions of greenhouse gases mostly produced by burning fossil fuels by 2060, 10 years later than the United States. So this will be, as we all know, United States committed the same by 2050. So Saudi Arabia 2060, that means there is 10 years difference between United States and Saudi Arabia for the same reason. They were speaking at the Saudi Green Initiative, in short it is called as SGA, ahead of COP, that is Conference of Parties 26, the United Nations Climate Conference in Glasgow at the end of the month, which hopes to agree deeper global emission cuts to tackle global warming. So this announcement is in ahead of COP26 that is supposed to be held in Glasgow at the end of this month or November 1st. So this country hopes to agree for deeper global emission cuts, that is actually to tackle global warming. The US, the world's second biggest emitter. So China is the world's first biggest emitter, and we, India, come at the third place in terms of emission, is committed to achieve net zero, meaning that item it's no more greenhouse gases than it can capture or absorb by 2050. As I told you, they won't produce any amount of greenhouse gas, so that is beyond their capacity to absorb. So that is actually called as net zero, and United States committed for the same by 2050. The SGI, that means the Saudi Arabian Green Initiative aims to eliminate 278 million tons of carbon dioxide emission per year by 2030. So this is 278 million tons of carbon dioxide emission, that is per year by 2030, up from a previous target of 130 million tons. So earlier target was 130 million tons. Now you can see approximately it is increased by 2-3 folds. So with this, let's go to article number 7. So this is in relation to Ministry of Education. So Union Minister for Education and Skill Development inaugurates phase 2 of Mahatma Gandhi National Fellowship. Phase 2 of Mahatma Gandhi National Fellowship, a 2-year-long fellowship conceived to create opportunity for young dynamic individuals to contribute to enhancing skill development at the grassroots. So this is basically fellowship is basically to impart skill among youth and dynamic individuals. That is named as Mahatma Gandhi National Fellowship. The 2-year fellowship, so this fellowship is for 2 years, seeks to combine classroom sessions by academic partner IIMs with an initiative field immersion at the district level to create credible plans and identify barriers in rising employment, economic output, and promote livelihood in rural areas. So this will be as good as any of our colleges, like where there will be theoretical classroom sessions that will be handled by IIMs, and there will be field activities also. So these field activities will be conducted at the district level, and this major activity or entire fellowship is actually done to identify different barriers in rising employment and economic output and promote livelihood in rural areas. So let's see the details about the Mahatma Gandhi National Fellowship. The operationalize to operationalize the mission and strengthen the skill training delivery mechanism in the country, skill acquisition and knowledge awareness for livelihood promotion, that is called as Sankalp, a World Bank loan assisted program, was launched by the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneur in January 2018. That is called as Sankalp. So this is actually to operationalize mission and strengthen the skill training delivery mechanism in the country. They actually started Sankalp. So this is actually assisted by World Bank, World Bank, and they are assisting with a loan. And this was launched by Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship in the year 2018. So Sankalp engages with district skill committees. So this Sankalp will be engaging with district skill committees to effectively reduce the mismatch between the supply and demand of skilled manpower in the country, thereby creating decent opportunities for youth to work and earn. So the major problem that we are seeing in our country is there is a lot of gap between the industries and the employment seekers. So there is The gap is there is no skill. So this program actually helps in reducing the gap by imparting skill in the youth that will help them to get the job and also earn a decent money. So MGNF, program under Sankalp was designed to provide a cadre of professionals at district level who not only know about governance and public policy in general, but also vocational education too. So these trainers will be knowing about the governance, at the same time public policy, and they will also help learning about the vocational education as well. So this MGNF is a unique blend of academic and work-based training handled at IIM campus and the districts respectively. As I told you before, the academic activities will be held by or taken care by IIM, and work-based training will be taken care at the district levels. MGNF is an opportunity for young women and men in the age group of 21 to 30 years. So this is the target age group who already possess some level of academic and professional expertise for providing catalytic support to the district administration to improve the skill development program delivery. So this is the age group that they are aiming for, and those age group actually should be a little bit of, they should have little bit of academic and professional expertise. So MGNF phase 1, that is actually titled as pilot phase, launched with IIM Bengaluru as academic partner, and 69 are fellows currently deployed in 69 districts across 6 states. So this was the phase 1 was just a pilot project or pilot scale. Now we are talking about the phase 2, MGNF phase 2, that is national rollout. So earlier it was called as pilot, this is called as national rollout, being launched on 25th October with 661 MGNFs who will be deployed across all districts of the country. So 8 more IIMs have been onboarded, taking the total to 9 IIMs. So IIM of Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Jammu, Kozhikode, Lucknow, and Nagpur, Ranchi, Udaipur, and Vishakhapatnam will be part of this particular program. So all these articles for the day, so we have completed. So if you have any questions, you can definitely put in comments box. We'll be more than happy to answer to your questions. Thanks for watching. Namaskara.